Namaste, good morning, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, listeners and learners, watchers, well wishers, teachers and trainers, professionals and professors, advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, officials and ministers. The most honorable present Prime Minister Saint Dr. Narendra Modi ji, presence of ministers and doctors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. Your presence of listening with meditation, your presence of thinking with meditation is really praiseworthy, admirable, appreciable and recordable. In Indian culture, our past history, recordings, savings, downloadings are very important because we are known by the greatest nation who is the great imitator, follower, believer, imaginator of the goodnesses, copier of the goodnesses. What's the truth of science and spirituality behind it? Today we are going to discuss. Now, in human body, which is blessed and graced by God, in the beginning of the chapter of the Genesis through the Bible, through the Bhagavad Gita, through the Quran Sharif and Shri Guru Granth Sahib, initially that are written by our forefathers, foretellers, forecasters, those who came first on this land, who were the starters, beginner and initiator of the old technologies, inventions and innovations that we are using, assuming and consuming. We remind them, we recollect them, recover them, recreate, regenerate and reoperate them through our actions in this present time. Modernity, our styles, standards, manners mean that we are recollecting the path of Swami Vivekananda. who addressed, appealed, proved to the world that energy, that waves of sound, rays of light, always with us in the form of an, im, in, because our nation is filled with varieties. Our mind is filled with varieties. Our body is filled with varieties. Our language is filled with varieties. Numberless variations, diversities, adversities we have with us. And our nation has been the winner. Our youth is the greatest preacher, appealer, director, instructor, and the mind of our youth is the supreme reporter, manager of this human body. How to think with meditation, how to read with meditation, how to write, how to speak, and how to learn with meditation. This is the spiritual base. This is the spiritual standard of our nation. Our Indian land, our Indian people, Indian methodologies that we apply in all the fields of our education, health, hospital, and even familiarity and friendly with nature. These are the supreme topics of our youth that are provided with devotion and dedication of the mind of people. So our nation is known by the purity of soul, sanctity of soul, the voice of our social reformist, the sound of starters, and the light of our lighters. They were not only bearing the light, but they worked as lighthouse for the seas in the ocean, north star of sky for the aeroplanes. But man's greatest need is to know the spiritual strength of man, which is hidden, implied, in the form of atom. In our study, we read it that our human cell are made by atoms, which is undivided further, and it creates it is the atom that can be read, spoken, written, and learnt externally. But the rays of light, waves of sound, this is the age of radiation, and this age of technology. In this age of electronology, digitology, our mind is the supreme in this dark age. But there is the light of spirituality. This is the word of spiritualistic personalities which creates light in the dark. It creates pleasure and peace in the tragedies. If we are filled with tragedies, sorrows, and anxieties, it means we know the superpower of light of pleasure, light of happiness. Our daytime starts with the rising sun. Our night time starts with the rising moon. Our nation is the nation of risers, awakened, and those personalities who were recorded in the history as the starters and beginners